Does Evernight need Castorice on the team, or just remembrance characters in general to make her function? Well, my initial thought on this is, yes, she does, but I think there's a little bit more nuance to this than saying, yes, she absolutely needs these characters, where there are some options that can fit on a team with her to make her have the same functionality or very similar functionality to if she were to have remembrance characters on the team. And that's what we're going to be covering in today's video, guys, along with a full teammate tier list for Evernight, going over the best of best teammates for her to the teammates that kind of work but maybe don't work as well. And then at the end of the video, we'll be touching more on that topic of, does she actually need remembrance characters or Castorice to function on a team? So that being said, guys, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and now let's go ahead and talk about that tier list. So what I personally think the bottom of the barrel for me, guys, is probably going to be Bronya. While yes, I think Bronya actually does bring a lot of support for this team, Bronya can also bring things like E2 with speed, right, which I think is okay. Bronya can also bring things to the table like extra damage percentage. She can also bring things to the table like extra crit damage as well. Now, the really big thing that I don't necessarily like with Bronya is that attack buff. I don't like the attack buff that much that's gotten from the ultimate move here, guys. Now, right, keep this in mind. You are getting a crit damage buff from the ultimate move as well, but the attack provided, don't like it all too much, because Evernight scales off of HP percentage. This doesn't help her in any way, shape, or form, and the crit damage buff you can get from this is not the best thing in the world either. I do like the extra 66% damage you're getting as well, and then you get the extra 10% damage to all allies in the field, which is nice. Overall, though, I don't think it's the best thing in the world. I think it kind of falters in that buff department, in my opinion. And that's what our baseline is going to be set as Bronya in C tier. I think she can work, but I don't think that she's the best thing in the world for her. Hopping into what I think the first character on our B tier here is, and I think to start that off, we go with Sparkle. Now, the reason why I like Sparkle on this team over someone like Bronya, well, yes, I don't think the 50% action value is like all too good. Biggest thing for me with using Sparkle on this team here is because of the fact that, first of all, she can generate a lot of SP for the team, increase the SP cap, and this actually can benefit the team quite a bit, considering the fact that you're probably running Evernight on a dual DPS team anyway, so potentially using more skill points. With Castorice, probably not as much, but maybe with someone like Aglia, you're using more of the skill points, and when we get more DPS in the future that come out, using more skill points. On a team with Hyson, using more skill points, and so on and so forth. So this to me is kind of better for future-proofing, but on top of the additional skill points she's able to provide, she also gives crit damage buff with the skill itself. The reason why I like Sparkle's skill a little bit better than I like Bronya's skill here, guys, because first of all, it gets crit damage, which is nice. It doesn't give damage percentage, kind of wish it did, but what I like about it, guys, is it lasts for 1 turn. Instead of immediately after the turn ending, you lose the buff, right? So this will actually carry over until the next turn starts. So that crit damage buff will be carrying over. So automatically really good there. You also get a pretty decent damage percent bonus for the whole team just from using her ultimate move here, which can be absolutely massive as well. And just by using skill points on the team, you're getting damage increases. So all around the board here can be really, really nice. But that's why I prefer Sparkle over Bronya. Hopping into the other characters we have in this tier here, guys, Ruan-Mei is going to be next on the chopping block. Ruan-Mei will be providing a couple different things for the team. First of all, increased weakness break efficiency, which can be quite useful in breaking the enemy shield and making sure you're getting past some of the red spin there, so you're getting additional damage on the enemy. Also on top of this too, guys, you're giving a damage bonus to the whole team. That means it also affects Memo sprites as well, so we love the extra damage bonus we're getting there. And then we're getting all type of red spin as well, which can actually pair up quite nicely with Evernight using vulnerability on the enemy. So it actually adds into the damage formula a lot better with this, so I do like this a lot as well. It also gives you a 10% speed increase, which is okay. It's not the best thing in the world, but it definitely can help you reach speed breakpoints, considering her speed does start at 99, and this allows you to not build as much more speed into her. So I do think overall this can help the team out quite a bit, as long as you have your 2 other remembrance characters on the team. Alright, guys, next up in the B tier is going to be Robin. I love a lot of the things she does. I like the full team action advance. I like the damage bonus that she's giving to the team. I like the fact she's able to give crit damage for the whole team as well. We love those things. I don't like the attack buff. I really don't. That's why she's so low on the list here. I do think she does a lot of things really, really nice, but she gives attack, which is like one of the main core things of her kit, so not very good there. If you have some more vertical investment, she does definitely start helping out more with the extra, I think, res pin she gives off from E1, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, all type res pin when in concerto state, which is absolutely fucking massive. It's really nice for her, so we love to see that there. Ruan-Mei also gives defense shred at E1 too, so that's also pretty nice there too. Honestly, maybe Ruan-Mei could be an A tier, but I'm gonna keep her in B tier for now. Next up on our B tier here, guys, is gonna be Cypher. The reason why I'm putting Cypher down here so low is because I do think the vulnerability she provides is really nice, and the sub-DPS damage she does is pretty nice, especially when paired up with Memo sprites. My biggest problem is you having 2 very bursty type of DPS on the team. They're considered sub-DPS, and then you're also giving yourself 2 of the same type of debuffs on the enemy. That means you're stacking on vulnerability on top of vulnerability instead of giving yourself defense shred in some way, shape, or form. Unless you get Evernight's signature light cone, guys, then you're getting some extra defense shred there, or unless you're getting defense shred from somewhere else on the team, then I don't like this all too much because it seems just very bursty in terms of the damage. So that's why I have Cypher down in B tier. And for our final character in B tier, guys, will be Blade. Yeah, Bladusi, guys. After his buff, he's became so much better. Blade works off of max HP now. Obviously, we know that Evernight does scale off of max HP as well here, guys. So she will obviously work pretty well with Blade. Blade likes decreasing HP. She likes decreasing HP. Like, they can work pretty decently with each other. I don't like it as much because, you know, he's much more of a sub DPS than a main DPS, and he doesn't provide many buffs, but I do think he's a decent alternative for running an alternative DPS on the team. Now, that's all that I have to mention on the B tier. Let's go ahead now and talk about the A tier now, the characters that are just that much better for her. Starting off with the first option here, Aglia. Now, I do think Aglia will move up this list when we get Sereni added to the game. I do think that maybe Sereni will help in some way, shape, or form for energy, which will then boost her up and make her better with Evernight. So do keep that in mind, guys, but I do think she can work. Obviously, she is remembrance, and she is able to take use of the crit damage buff that, you know, Evernight's able to provide, and also the vulnerability too, and her being a remembrance character obviously buffs up Evernight too, so that those all kind of work hand in hand with each other. She's much more of a main DPS, so she kind of falls in line with working with more of the sub DPS or bursty DPS capabilities of Evernight, so I do like that too. So yeah, we're going to be putting her in the A tier here for now until Sereni comes out. Then I do think she'll be even better. And I forgot to add Fushwin down to the B tier as well. I don't know why I forgot it, but yeah, Fushwin can also work here. She allows you to take damage. She increases crit rate even more, so that means you're honestly, if you build her in a certain way, just off of free stats alone, you can almost get probably to 100% free crit rate for Evernight. So massive there. Can also work when you're running maybe Sparkle on team or something like that as well. I don't know. But other than that, though, guys, don't really know what else she does outside of that. She allows you to take damage, which is okay, but still not the best sustain in the world, especially in the current meta, right? So yeah, she will be down here in the B tier. But hopping into our next A tier character here, guys, gonna be My Day. I think My Day is a upgrade to what Blade's able to do, so that means it just, to me, it seems better to run My Day on the team than it seems to run Blade on the team in terms of sub DPS. So that's the reason why he's up here. He scales off of max HP, obviously, so he can work pretty well here, and I feel like he's a much more consistent DPS than what Blade is. So that, for that reason, he is going to be up here in the A tier. Then for our next characters here, guys, we're just going to throw some sustains up here because I do think these sustains actually do come in quite clutch, or just being like a base level healer for the team. Like, they're just going to be helping out the team in terms of like just getting a lot of healing out, right? Because the teams you run her on will be taking more HP away, so you do want healers because you're going to be taking damage as well, right? So the teams are very HP conducive. So for that reason, Linkshop healing obviously has her little summons that come out. Locha does healing obviously, so he's going to be pretty decent for this team. Gallagher going to be decent as well, also an SP generator. And then another character I want to put in here, the last character in our A tier, is going to be Silverwolf. I think Silverwolf provides great defense rate on every single enemy in the field, considering she does do AoE attacks. That also is very nice. She can be SP generative. She can do res pin on the enemy as well, which also pairs up really nice with the vulnerability she's able to provide. So you get vulnerability from Evernight, then you get defense rate and a res pin for Silverwolf. What more of a combo can you really ask for there? Super, super nice. That's why I'm putting her in the A tier. But that's all that I have to mention now in terms of the A tier characters. Hopping into our S tier characters now. The characters that are going to work super, super good with her. Not the best in slot, but still going to work super, super good. Starting at number 1, guys, Tribby. I think Tribby works super good. The only caveat Tribby has is that she's not remembrance. You're missing out on some damage there. She also is going to be providing vulnerability, which kind of stacks on top of the vulnerability Evernight already provides, but also a decent amount of respite as well, with some great sub DPS levels of damage. There are just some conflicting things in Tribby's kit that don't make her like the absolute best in slot, but still an absolutely solid option if you have Tribby on your account. Obviously, Tribby is good for really a lot of teams, really, right? So yeah, definitely deserves an S tier. That's why she's up here, guys. Hopping into our next character here, Sunday. Sunday does a lot of the things that Evernight wants. Gives free crit damage, absolutely amazing. He also gives free crit rate as well, which makes her that much easier to build. Also gives free energy. She has 240 energy, so that works there too. Also gives buffs to Memo Sprites, so works there too. Also SP neutral, so really good, like all around the board. Love what Sunday's able to do. The reason why he's an S tier is because he's very single target oriented, and Evernight teams are more dual DPS oriented, but might just be a little bit weird running her with Sunday in certain situations. But overall, I still think Sunday's a really solid option for Evernight, especially if you were to put her on a main DPS team where you're just doing a full hyper carry with her. And next up, guys, is gonna be Miss Hwang. Hwang gives energy for the whole team. We know that she wants energy, so it's going to be nice to have Hwang on the team here. The attack buff really doesn't matter. You get consistent healing. But for the most part, the team does want energy unless you are in Castorice, and Castorice doesn't want energy. So that, I mean, energy wouldn't matter anyways. But yeah, guys, I think Hwang will also work here too. Hopping into our final pick for here, S tier, guys, RMC. Yeah, RMC, I think, is going to be really good. Actually, I think RMC is probably best in slot right now. But after Serene comes out, you probably move down to S tier, right? So yeah, RMC really good, provides true damage, has a memo sprite, is part of the remembrance class, so provides you with extra crit damage there. Also provides crit rate, crit damage from them, their kit themselves. You can get them E6 for absolutely free, so absolutely love that. Works super good. Best in slot for right now, but when Serene comes out, like I said, move him down. Best in slot. This is the best in slot team right here, guys. Serene, Hyacinth, Castorice, and Evernight. From what I believe Serene is going to be able to do, I think this is just a no-brainer at this point. I think this is the best in-slot support for Castorice. Every single character on this team is going to be Remembrance, so you're getting maximum buffs out for Evernight. Then, in turn, that gives maximum buffs out for the rest of the team's Memo Sprites. You're getting a lot of Memo Sprites here to do attacks on enemies, which supercharge Evernight even more. Yeah, super good. If Serene can help with ult charge as well, then maybe that plays in what Castorice is able to do and what Evernight's able to do. And then also Hyacinth on the team as well. Fucking scales off of max HP, does a lot of healing, does a lot of HP related things, especially if you have her light cone. This will help the team out even more so. So yeah, this is hands down the best in slot team for Evernight, guys. And that is going to be the teammate tier list, guys. If you have any questions, gripes, or concerns about it, leave it in the comment section down below. But now let's get to the part you've maybe been waiting for. Does Evernight actually need Castorice or Remembrance characters to function? Because as we just saw in that teammate tier list, her best in slot team is just full of Remembrance characters, right? Like, you cannot go wrong with having Remembrance characters on the team. Why is this, you might ask, though? Well, I think I mentioned it there, right? Well, I think I mentioned it when I was talking about teammates, right? She has an ability where, number one, she increases her own crit damage depending on how many Remembrance characters you have on the team, which is a free crit damage increase. On top of this as well, though, the more times your Remembrance characters attack with their Memo Sprites, the more energy Evernight gets back to get back to her damage, or get back to her damage potential of dealing massive amounts of damage. So this is where I think the nuance comes in, right? Because what I'm breaking this down to is, number one, she's getting a crit damage increase. Number two, she's getting energy increase as well from the Memo Sprites attacking. Now, she does also have other buffs which buff other Memo Sprites on the team, so that is something to keep in mind, and that's not going to apply to the team we're going to talk about right now, because they're not going to have Memo Sprites, right? But I really do think you need to run someone either A, that's going to be giving you energy, or B, giving you supplementary crit damage. So let's say, for example, you're running two Remembrance characters on the team. You're running Remembrance MC, and you're running Evernight, right? Because those are the only two that you have, because you haven't summoned for anyone else, right? And I think that's going to be the situation for a lot of people. Who else do you run this team? I think obviously you run it to stay on the team. I think you have to run it to stay on the team. But I think that next option is going to have to be either an action, Advancer, or so I think Sunday is like your number one pick there, because he provides crit damage and energy, which she can take use of fully. And on top of that, he's providing an extra damage bonus to her Memo Sprites as well. So I think that is the de facto go-to option for this team. Now, if you didn't have him, other options you could go for here, Ting Yun could alleviate that ult charge issue. So I think she could technically work, because, you know, getting the ult back up puts vulnerability on the enemy. So you want to be getting to that ultimate as fast as possible and keeping her in her enhanced state as long as possible. On top of that as well, I think really any action Advancer can work. I think Sparkle maybe works a little bit better than Brawny does, especially depending on how you run your Evernight. So at the end of the day, guys, I don't think she needs extra Remembrance Sprites. Now, do I think she helps them out? Tremendously, yes. I think if you have the extra Remembrance characters, you put her on that team. But if you don't have the Remembrance characters, I think she works absolutely fine there as well. Anyways, guys, that's the end of me yapping for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Later, bye-bye.